Chris Hayes in Naples. And Chris, I imagine when you hear Bill Cairns talk about how many hours it's going to be until this storm actually gets to you, it's cold comfort with the wind and rain you're having already.
Yeah, the pace of the storm really is excruciating. And this is actually something we saw with Harvey as well, where slow storms can do a lot of damage, right? Because they sit and they sit and they sit and they kind of mow down. That's what happened with Harvey, that just sat there for days and dumped all that rain. This storm is moving so slowly. It's also psychologically excruciating because folks in this area are scrambling and waiting and scrambling and waiting and scrambling and waiting. I want to give a sense of just how the wind dynamics work, because I think it's pretty interesting. If you look back there, you can see those trees. Those are all blowing to the south. That counterclockwise motion is now coming north-south towards us as the storm pushes up. And you can see it like this. You can see where I am in, because I'm blocked from the north. I'm basically taking no wind right now. What's happening down at the coast, and there's been some sort of amazing photos of this, is the water is being pushed away from the ocean as that wind comes and pushes it away from the ocean, exposing hundreds of yards of beach. That action will then snap in the opposite direction as the storm moves up and starts pushing the water to the ocean, the beach, which is where you get that storm surge. And at some point, this wind behind me will be pushing exactly this way off the water. That's going to be the most dangerous moment for Naples when that eye wall starts to move in.
And you referenced the pictures that have been floating around on social media. There's been video and stills in the Bahamas, where out in the ocean, where we normally see the ocean's gone. It's been sand. It's a real dynamic. People have wondered if it's real. It has to do with the ocean getting sucked into the vortex of this storm. It has to do with an oncoming low tide, and it has to do with sand in places and at elevations that sand didn't occupy before. But it can happen. And Chris, to your point, the problem is when this surge comes, people may be lulled into a false sense of low tide security.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the psychology of that just for a moment. Partly because it's moving slowly, because the track has changed, there is a way in which it really can lull you. I mean, folks in this area, you know, we went 12 years without a major hurricane. Folks still remember Andrew, but between Andrew and now, there were a ton that were going to be huge and then veered off to the right. We had Matthew, I think, last year that did that along the Atlantic coast. So there's a psychology that, okay, maybe this won't be that bad. And then there's actually the thing that Bill's been talking about and Sam's been talking about, the just inability to conceive of it. I mean, you're sitting out at the beginning of the storm, you start to get the rain bands, and it feels, okay, well, it's windy and it's raining, and you can't get your head around what 120 miles an hour are going to do, what a 15-foot storm surge is going to do. And you could really imagine yourself being in a building that feels secure until the moment that it isn't. And I feel like I've understood the psychology of that better being down here during this excruciating buildup to when this thing's going to make landfall.
Yep. To a lot of people, it's kind of an exciting oncoming event, especially those who are spectators without skin in the game where property is concerned until it arrives. And there are a million places you can name where you'd rather be. Chris Hayes down in Naples, Florida. Thanks.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.